South African athletics is on the up and up. We're told there are several youngsters waiting to be handed the baton by Carte and Wade as our future Olympic hopefuls. And out in front, it seems, is a 17-year-old sprinter from the Eastern Cape with an eye for the big stage. Claire went to meet the prodigy some are calling a once-in-a-generation talent.
The last time I see people is before we go into the blocks.
100 meter, fun, women under 18.
After that, I just switch on.
Well, it's a terrific start this time around already.
Me and my lane and the finish line.
Watch the clock, watch it run. Viwe, Jingqi, remember the name. Come at the hour, come at the athlete.
Driven by ambitions to write her family's name into South African history books at this year's Junior Championships, Viwe Jingqi smashed the 100-meter record 3 times. And her 200-meter time of 23.03 seconds beat a record that was set 40 years ago to the day.
She's taken this race out of orbit. You know, I came here with only willing to break the 100-meter record again, but then miracles happened and I believe God is here for me.
Before we went to Potchefstroom, I already knew, look, we're going to see something special.
Viwe's coach, former champion athlete Paul Gories, has been nurturing this blossoming track and field athlete over the last 2 years.
Those records stood for years. So that in itself should tell you what caliber athlete you're dealing with.
Viwe had eclipsed the under-18 records for both sprints. Remarkably, her 11.22 seconds for the 100 meters was also an under-20 record. At just 17, this superstar in the making oozes confidence, and when asked to describe herself, she doesn't hesitate.
Smart is the first one. Kind, talented, disciplined, and beautiful.
I agree with all of those 5 words. You are correct. But Viwe hasn't always been this self-assured. Born in rural Eastern Cape, her path to success was strewn with obstacles.
I grew up there with mostly my mother because my father was working in another town.
At what point did you start running?
I started in 2015. It was a small competition at school. When I was 10 years, my coach told me that it's a great age to start running. He saw me running there and he was like, yeah, you could take this as something that could take you far.
She wasn't running solo and took inspiration from her biggest supporter.
My father, he was an athlete back in his days, but he never got to be a big athlete or a professional athlete because of where we come from.
It was that era, the apartheid era. That is what hidden our talent. And I was very good.
And it was this proud dad, Zwele Jingqi, who traveled to watch Viwe compete in the SA Seniors in April.
I'm very, very, very much happy. I can say my dream came true.
It must have been quite exciting for him when somebody said that his daughter is talented in running.
And he would go around bragging and be like, it's actually my only child that was able to have my genes actually. So whenever he sees me, it's like he's seeing a vision of him in me.
I remember one time I saw her running barefooted in a rubber ground. I was very, very, very much happy. I started to hunt spikes for her. I paid 1.5 a pair of spikes. I struggled to buy because I was not working at that particular moment.
His belief in his daughter was rewarded. In 2019, Viwe was discovered at an SA Schools event, finishing 3rd in the 200 and 400 meter races. Viwe was just 14 years old when she received her bursary to Tuck Sport High School. In this specialized environment, she has the privilege to focus on her sport and her academics. It is through the Athletics Foundation Trust that she received this rare opportunity. Hetty de Villiers has been principal of the school since its inception 20 years ago.
90 learners are in our school and they are fully sponsored by the trust. And they're given an opportunity to come to a good school, to get the best coaches, training facilities, and just reach their dreams. At the Olympics, we had 3 boys that came through our school.
Were you scared? It's a whole new city. It's a whole new way of life.
It was horror. You know, coming from villages to the cities, if I may say, it was very, very different. The people, the way they do things, the education. So it was just overwhelming.
But with careful guidance from her coach, she started to flourish, moving from the 400 meters to the 100 and 200. This mentorship has seen her through deeply troubling times.
Viwe had a serious emotional setback last year, where her family had to face the tragic loss of her older brother, Vukile, in a fatal car crash.
I think he saw it in me that I have potential. So he was more than just a brother to me. But because I'm also very strong mentally, I was able to get through it. Not easy, but I was able to start.
I think it's very difficult because she's so far away from home. And while we are very close here at the school, and she has a support system, it doesn't replace family.
What an incredible run!
Whenever I run, I know my brother is right next to me. When I face the challenges, I know he's fighting with me. So that's one thing I'm just glad of, that I had a brother like her.
And pushing through her pain, she's made it to head girl, juggling a sports career with matric exams looming. Now she wants to make her mark at the World Juniors in August.
What is the next big milestone?
A lot of people have posed the question, should she qualify for World Seniors? Am I sending her? And the answer is definitely no.
Oh.
Yeah, that is just too much too soon.
Khoris is playing the long game, and he had to make a heartbreaking decision at the SA Senior Championships when Viwe felt a niggle in her hamstring.
Viwe didn't look too comfortable in the warm-up. I could see there's a little bit of doubt as well. And once there's doubt and you chip away under confidence with the sprint, you already lost 50% there. And I didn't want to take the risk, from a small little niggle to a big injury. So that's why I made a decision to pull her from the race.
With her dad waiting on the sidelines, the disappointment was palpable.
I'm disappointed, but I'm here, and I also encourage her not to be disappointed that much, because it's part of the sport.
It's this kind of special talent that heralds an Olympic champion, and with the right support, it could become a reality.
She could probably be, depending how she develops from now going forward, probably being the best sprinter that ever come out of this country in terms of females.
South Africans are looking at you for our hopes for Olympics. Does that feel like pressure?
To be honest, I like the pressure. It's actually pushing me to running even faster times. But yeah, Olympics are the only things I'm hoping to actually compete in a few years.
I'm just dreaming of seeing her wearing gold. She's got the ability. She's very strong.
All we can say is Viva Viwe, and we'll be watching you. And that's it for our show tonight. Head on over to our